The Icons of Real Estate podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from eXp's top-producing icon agents? If you are an ambitious eXp agent ready to skyrocket your business, this podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your eXp business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of the Icons of Real Estate podcast. With us today, we have Matthew Ma. He's an investor, syndicator, coach, and founder of Avant Asset Management and Real Estate Group. Matthew is also the host of the Truth About Real Estate podcast, so he's pretty used to podcasting himself. Now, of course, on the other side. Matthew started investing in San Francisco at the age of 25, and with a background in tech, cybersecurity, marketing, lending, and 1031 exchanges, Matthew brings a wealth of knowledge to help agents scale their businesses. And that wealth of knowledge is coming to you on the Icons of Real Estate podcast. Welcome to the show, Matthew.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. So we start with your real estate journey. So please spare no details because we do want to know.
Yeah, definitely. So I first just came from tech background. I started doing IT when I was 18 years old, right after high school, right? And I luckily got into that field. But what I realized this too, when I started doing more, I decided that I wanted to look into real estate at the age of 24. And, miraculously, by putting your mindset into it, I started looking at real estate and like, hey, actually coming from a background in tech, I can actually afford this and buy a house in San Francisco at the age of 25. And, while living at home, I was like, hey, this could make sense. I can buy a house here, and running the numbers, I started diving in deeper to looking at financials. How can I afford to buy this house? What would make it work? And then how do I do this at such a young age and take that risk? And luckily, my parents, my girlfriend's parents, the family were open to it, said, hey, that makes sense. You can do it. And with that security in mind, I started buying my first house at the age of 25 and closed. With that in mind, you can house hack at that point and utilize rental income and be able to afford that property. Even when the interest rate starting back in 2007, 2008, it was 6.25% ARM rates, like 7-1 ARMs, 10-1 ARMs. So at that point, 6.25 is pretty high in comparison to today's market. And then from that point on, I realized, hey, coming from tech background, this real estate process was actually not the best it should be. It was complicated. It was over too much work involved and not speedy enough coming from a millennial in the tech background. I'm like, there's better ways to do this. And of course, everyone says there's easier ways to do things. So I looked into it, and within the next couple of months, I got my real estate license and I started doing real estate. And when I started doing real estate, I realized, hey, I'm a young person starting real estate at 25 as a sales agent. How do I do this? And what's the best way to do it? So I started looking into who is the best people around in the San Francisco market. And I found a great couple of people, and I asked them, hey, I would love to join your team. I would love to be mentored by you. I see you guys do a lot of real estate. I love to learn from you guys. And honestly, they said no at the first time because we don't take agents at all. Because, what's the point? We're already top people who have been in business for 20, 30 years. I said, guess what? I'm willing to work with you guys and help you guys. I'll train you guys and help fix your systems in tech. And in the trade, I would love for you to just show me what you guys are doing. And the way they trained me was just follow me, listen, shut up, learn, be open-minded, and you'll see things you'll never see from anyone else because this is how we got here. And within that 2-year period, I learned a lot from them and took that in mind. And even in my first week of real estate, normally people, for example, get to show a house, right? First week, you might show a house, do something. I get to show development projects. I get to show 10 brand new condominiums in one showing, and I get to show all 4 floors. I sold my first condo in the first week. I was like, wow, okay. So that's what it takes. Having that skill set, tenacity, learning how they speak, how they walk, how they talk, how they engage, and how they help people. And their experience sells everything. It guides people, right? So I learned from that. And within the first week, I was able to get my first deal. And that moved on to really understanding, okay, what do I really want in real estate? Most new agents, single family homes, condos, lower price points. I'm like, well, I don't want that. I'm actually financially analytical and tech driven. So why don't I start multi-units? Well, you're too young. You can't do that. Who's going to want to help have you be a client representing multi-units in your first part at age 25? And then my mentor's like, don't worry, you can do it. I know you're smart. You already got your own house. You ran the numbers. You know how to do it. You just got to find the people who are willing to trust you. And to be honest, he goes, start with your family, friends, people in your community, your culture, because that'll be easier, just to be honest, right? And I'm like, all right, let me try that. And then within the first couple months, I actually got into multi-units, actually got into deals, and I put deals together and they actually closed. And like, okay, I see what you mean by, setting your mindset, focusing on what you want, get rid of your limiting beliefs, and then start focusing on it. And you'll find the right people who want to work with you because, hey, you're driven and people will trust you because you're driven and honest and want to help people. So I started closing more and more multi-units in the San Francisco market and learning from that and learning how to do 1031 exchanges, multi-units, and helping clients invest in it. And even during the time period when the market's crashing, it was actually the best time for me because I was getting to deals left and right easily. And then we would walk out of deals too when we knew that it didn't make sense. When the market's dropping, we can take it to another property and get something better. So we ended up getting some good properties for clients who realized that potential. And even at that point, people are like walking away from deals. I'm like, if you think about the time period, the property is so cheap, it's ridiculous. Even if the market's crashing, it's going to rebound. It's going to be in the future. You see the tech, how tech was growing, even though the market's crashing, you'll see the difference. And some people believe me, some people didn't. And I said, that's fine. But in that time period, it started skyrocketing back up afterwards. And then the people who captured it did really well. And that was one way to help them.
Nice. And how did Avant Asset Management get into this? When did you start? Was it also at the age of 25? It seemed like at the age of 25, you did everything.
No. So what happened was during my career in real estate, when you're young and learning, I started to do multiple things. I started to look at the multi-units. I became a lender too. I became a mortgage lender for 2 years. And the reason I became a lender was the fact that some of the lenders out there, they didn't really know and understand the Fannie Freddie Mac guidelines. And as a lender, they're busy too. And I understand that too. But for my clients, I wanted to serve them best. And usually serving them best means just helping them in one field, real estate sales, for example, not doing both. But the way I did it was a little bit different. I decided to work on clients and help investor clients buy property. But in order to do that, I started looking deeper into financials, helping them with loans. And sometimes some lenders wouldn't qualify them for loans because it's too complex. Not because they can't afford it. They can really afford it, but it was because of the complexity of their deals. I'm like, well, why don't I just learn how to do it? Got my license, started practicing, helped a lot of clients refinance, helped a lot of clients get into deals. So I happened to do the buy, the sell, the 1031 exchange with the lawyer, and then do the loan as well for them. And I was able to get them the best rates because one thing is I was crazy. I would watch the market, the economic data. I look at the easing, what's going on in the market, watch daily stocks and watch the trends of what's happening and how the rates are changing. And then I would price lock my clients in at the best rates. I would even beat my broker sometimes by 0.5% because the rate was changing 4 times a day. But I'm like, wait, if you wait in the morning, you look at fluctuations, see what's happening here in the news here, you can take speculation on that and start readjusting for it and say, hey, I can lock in this rate. My clients trusted me. They're like, I can afford either rate you want, but you can do your best and play with it. And then during those days, I would win a lot of the rates at a better rate. And my clients still have those rates today. No one can beat those rates. Even top lenders, during that time, that's some really good rates. I remember those times. Wow, you got that low for multi-units? That's ridiculous, right? And I'm like, yeah, that was fun, but it's a lot of stress because they're putting their financials into you. But, by building that trust and client engagement, they understood I'm just here to help them. And it was fun for me, especially when you're young. You're single, not married, you have more time to play and learn and help people. But throughout that process, I did that. I was helping sales. Back in like 2012, I built my own brokerage. Instead of working for another company, I decided, why am I doing this? These companies want my tech, they want my knowledge and my drive. So I said, I'll just build my own brokerage. I built my own brokerage Avant Real Estate Group in the San Francisco Bay Area, and it had my own office in Burlingame for 5.5 years. And we grew to a team of 14 agents, and we did quite well. These agents come in, they'd be new or seasoned. I would track and I would normally get more seasoned agents to join me rather than new agents. The difference was this: seasoned agents saw my ability to help them scale their business and the ability to show them the marketing, the sales, the tech, the branding, and how I can help them quadruple their business utilizing systems and processes and honing in on their core skill sets and giving them time back led to their business growth dramatically. New agents didn't see this. They saw the ability like, hey, you're a small company. I don't want to be here. I want to be a big brand name company, big offices, a lot of people around me. And I totally understood that. I'm like, great, that's totally the right move for you. Go do that. You'll learn from them. And then later you'll see what we do. And that difference between it was this. I had agents from Keller Williams. They come in, they average $3, $5, $10 million. And within the first 6 months to a year, depending on how driven they are and how willing and able they're to learn, I was able to help them scale their business. And we utilized the latest tech, we utilized marketing and branding and showed them they already knew the sales skills, but they needed the back end systems. They needed their processes. They needed the motivation. And by doing that, some of our agents went from example, coming in at 3 million. First year they hit 15, second year 25, 36, 42 plus solo agents. Nowadays, we even seen agents come in at 10 million, and within the first 6 months, they doubled it to over 25 million. And they were hitting higher price points than they ever saw. Like some agents average 1.2 million. Well, they came in, they're hitting $2, $3, $4 million listings. And they're like, what changed? I'm like, it's just them and knowing how to repurpose and rebrand them to what they want to be and how to do it, and then teaching them how to scale. Some people move faster than others because it's the willingness to be able to learn new technology, learn how to process things, and learn how to guide them. But what it really came down to was becoming more of a business owner, entrepreneur, and focusing on investing into your business rather than being an employee, taking it as a job. We don't treat this as a job. We treat this as our time and investment for financial freedom. And if you take that time for financial freedom, what you realize is this is a business I need to grow. You look at cash flow quadrant, right? Robert Kiyosaki. What are you? Are you a business owner? Are you an employee? Self-employed? You're an investor? And how do you switch quadrants? I switched quadrants 4 times. I started as an employee when I was in tech for 15 years in tech. And then I went to self-employed, right? And started doing the real estate sales. I became a business owner, did that. And now I'm on the investor side, the bottom right quadrant, and creating financial freedom and passive income. So that's kind of what led me to starting about 2 years ago. I started scaling the business even more. I actually moved to eXp Realty. I moved my whole brokerage over. I went from 14 agents to now over 60 plus agents, and a lot of them produce well, and it's growing and a lot of fun. What we do on top of the eXp platform is that we enhance it too. How do I make our organization better, faster? How do I systematize it more for the local markets? How do I teach them tech? How do I enable them to build and duplicate everything we do? How do we help them understand it and learn the processes? How do you learn how to hire VAs to help you build your team? Physical, in person, out of state, out of area, out of country? How do you do that? What systems do I use? Because a lot of people get stuck on buying the shiny objects that don't work, right? Like, oh, those pretty websites that don't perform, have low GT metrics, have low Google page analysis, and have no content for SEO. How does that perform versus someone who has a normal website that functions really well and has high performance, that drives a lot of results? And then how do you tie that into your brand, your messaging, and the technology behind it to actually run it quickly, right? So for myself, I have, multiple streams. You have your Truth About Real Estate podcast, Avant Real Estate Group, Avant Asset Management, EXP, and more, right? In active and passive investing. But so I started building that and building my team out, my assistants out. And then recently, 2 years ago, I built my Avant Asset Management company, which is a real estate syndication company. And the benefit was that is taking sales, taking clients, helping clients invest out of state and buy into multi-units out of state. So it takes a lot of work. It's not easy as people think it is. Building your own company, building a syndication company, learning the legal aspect of working with the best syndication lawyers in the country, hiring them to write your PPMs, your operating agreements, set up the LLCs and everything is a lot of work. And a lot of people don't understand it. It might be just simplistic. Hey, just set this up, start getting money in and go buy property. Not that simple, because the next part of it is the SEC compliant, learning how to speak to people, providing all the marketing collateral and engaging, and then asking them for money to help into invest. Fortunately for me, I already had a clientele base of more than 14 years. So it became easier to ask because they already knew my results in the multi-unit space in the Bay Area. So now when we ask, They're like, okay, show me the numbers, show me how it works, show me why, how will help my financial portfolio. But in the last 2 years, we acquired over 558 units into Texas as general partners. And this year, we're looking to acquire another 1,000 plus units and build it up. But it's been a lot of fun, great learning, performing really well during COVID times, buying great property off market, making financial sense. And now my investors see it. But in the syndication world, the difference is this: real estate sales, you buy and sell, buy and sell. Syndication world, when you buy, you eventually keep reinvesting money over and over and over. You keep trading properties, reinvesting into new properties. And as the performance keeps getting better and better, people keep investing more and more. That's why you see people like Grant Cardone and other people up there, they're doing thousands of units, millions of dollars, and institutionals are buying it too. So that's a different formality of real estate sales, but it's another level of fun and engaging in a different space.
Yeah, and have you been able to like make your realtors that have that mindset of just buy and sell, like through transforming them into, of course, more to the investing side, because it real estate investing can come like in very different shapes and sizes, right? So like sometimes they're a bit lost, and I mean, I guess you're there to guide them, but did you already make someone go with you to the investing, or even invest in your syndication fund?
Yeah. So I would say that even when we really help train agents and help them grow their business, I realized coming from the tech space, like in the tech world, I trained over probably hundreds of engineers in cybersecurity, and training those hundreds of engineers around the world across places we never even know about and see. These people, you tell there's so many different personality types, right? Like this profile, there's different personality types. And we take that into real estate agents in our markets, and you see how they all think differently, right? Same thing as a cash flow quadrant. Everyone has a different mindset. So taking that into account, even for myself, when I talk to them about investing and building your wealth in multiple revenue streams, some people get it, some people don't. Some people don't want to explore it. They have risk adversity to it. And I totally understand that. But I try to engage by educating them, saying, hey, no matter what you do, being an employee, being self-employed or not, or becoming an investor, it's good to always be open-minded, learn about everything, see what's best for your own personal self, your own risk factor, your own analysis, see what makes sense. But the worst case is don't try at all. Then that's the ultimate failure, not trying, not exploring, not understanding. And given some risk, in fact, start small, start with yourself, start where you want. But when you realize the potential, start investing more and more. You got to make your money work for you while you sleep. Otherwise, what's the point? Do you want to work all your life? How do you spend time with family, kids? How do you go travel the world? How do you sleep and make money, right? So becoming that fact, I do have agents in other companies, like Compass and Tarot and other brands that do invest within my syndication. Even agents in our in-house, some invest and they realize, hey, I don't work with you at your company. I sell real estate, but I would love to invest with you. I see what you're doing and how
Yes.
you're helping agents grow their business and how you're helping people grow their passive income streams. So they do invest, and I'm glad to have a really good network of agents in throughout the Bay Area and other states investing with us now into this because they already understand the real estate model, but now they're understanding the multi-unit syndication space and how the difference between a syndication and fund works. And then they like that benefit along with the tax benefits they see. It makes sense for them, but it takes time to really talk to people, to educate them and earn their trust, earn their business.
Yeah, but that's incredible. Even like different agents from other brokerages, they still come to you to invest in your syndication fund. It's like arms the weapons down and like let's talk real business. and
Exactly.
and yeah, like of course, I think as what you're been talking about, like you've been using your background in tech like in an amazing way to your success. Can you just let us know what was the latest system you implemented in your day-to-day business that is helping you scale?
Yeah, I would say this. In the technology space, there's so many different platforms, there's so many things, and there's so many different ways that work it. But what it really comes down to is multiple factors. One is how easy is it to use? How easy is it to scale? You got to make sure you understand what you're trying to sign up for and sign into, being free or paid, because the complexity of is this. If it takes too much time, effort, and you don't use it, it doesn't matter how good it is. If it takes too much to integrate or back out of, like you want to export everything out and move to another system, if it's too complex, then you get stuck, right? People want sticky platforms. They want you to be stuck. And the third part of it is this: don't just sign up with whatever your brokerage has, because one day if you ever leave, you're locked into everything they have. You got to be independent no matter what brokerage you're at. EXP, other brokerages, you still need to be self-independent. So you have your own book of business, you have all your systems in place, and that you can walk away any day you want to, anywhere you want, right? Be your own brokerage or whatever. Make it sellable, right? But in that mindset of that, the next part of it is this: the main system you have to have are two different things. One is you really need a good, robust CRM that you use every day, that it's the livelihood of your business, right? Having good CRM, learning how to use it, learning all the functionality, integrations, having your database built in, automating it so all your lead funnels in from your website, all the SEO you're doing, your Facebook ads, all the other integrations using Zapier or whatever, even like expired listings, stuff like that coming into your funnel. The second part of your business is the back end. Company B, we call it, is your business side of business. You need project management tools. The project management tools runs your business. It helps you build your, even as a solo person, you can put everything in there. And such as Monday.com, such as ClickUp, such as Asana, such as Trello. You got to really see which one you like and which one works best for you. I personally use ClickUp, and I also use Monday.com. I use two systems right now, but they're for two different companies. But for a person, I would tell them, take a look at what you like. Monday you start paying immediately. ClickUp's free, and then you pay as you grow, right? But you got to see what works for you, because everyone's different. With that, what we do is put everything we do daily into the system, because it becomes the brain of our operations. It's a platform, and how you use it to scale is that you think of it even as an individual person. You have a marketing department, you have a finance department, you have a sales department, you have a people department, you have a support department, you have a legal department, and you slowly input information over time into here. So that way it's one source of truth for everything you do. It becomes replicatable, it becomes scalable. And, like, for example, all your checklists, open house checklists, a buyer's checklist, seller's checklist, an investor checklist, anything you do should be all in here and should become automated over time. So like daily, my assistants and I are building templates, updating templates, processing things. And that's how we process hundreds of different tasks, transactions, and everything. It's all through the system. And then at any point in the day, you'll know exactly where you're at and what's the next steps, so you don't get lost. Most people get lost because they don't have a system. They just have things everywhere.
Yeah, and I think like it's crucial not to be afraid of changing on or evolving from system to system. For instance, like we were using Teamwork. Do you know Teamwork?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and we changed to ClickUp, and it was like such an amazing switch, So it's sometimes people, oh, I already know this platform, I know what I need to do, but sometimes there's better out there. So you said you use Monday and ClickUp, but is there like a favorite one you could point out?
I would say I use ClickUp for years already. I use it for the past 3 years, and I'm not switching to Monday. But what I realized in my syndication team, they probably prefer Monday more because visually it looks easier and faster to use. I prefer ClickUp more in that sense because I can automate a lot of it faster. I can build templates faster, and I have thousands and thousands of tasks in ClickUp for years, and it's easier, faster for me. Visually, it might not look as colorful, but functionality wise, it works way better for me.
Okay, so but in terms of like managing a team for in EXP Realty, which one would it be?
Given that fact, it's dependent on I would say it's dependent on your age group of your agents you're working with. What's the age group they're in? How tech savvy are they? How likely are they to use it? I can recommend ClickUp for my assistants because I hire assistants who can manage stuff, right, and organize. For agents, I might say Monday.com because it's probably the easiest one for them. But again, they have to start paying $30 a month off the bat. ClickUp starts for free. Yeah. So if you're not used to you don't want to pay, you want to start and learn how to do things, then probably ClickUp's the better one to go with, and just be open to that.
Nice.
But
so
I like ClickUp, yeah.
So now going more into this EXP world, just like let us know, like how did you first hear about it? And you told me about the Agent Hustle network and that you've been working with Sean Work and Frank de Jesus. Like, can you just let us know a bit of how did you guys meet and how did you create this Agent Hustle network?
Yeah, so I started EXP a little over 2 years ago, and the realization was I've been looking for at it for over a year and a half before I made the move. I saw the first videos I saw were with Brent Gove talking about this new business, the new model, and what it means to him. And then, as time goes, you just get distracted. You continue working in your business. You don't go back and look at it and really dive in deep. One day I met Sean Work and, started talking about it and say, I'm building my business. It's doing really well. Agents, unfortunately, in your smaller company, what happens is when you start helping agents grow their business, they get bought out, right? Sotheby's, Compass, some other agents buy them out, and at that time period, I'm like, okay, well, working so hard, building this business, teaching agents grow, and then they get bought out and leave. Okay, that's not a business I really want to be in. What can I do? And when I started looking further at the model and saw how the business worked, I'm like, this can be really good. If I know what they're doing and see how it's running, this can be really good. And I went to the first conference 2 years ago and in Vegas, took a look at it. And I realized, hey, this totally makes sense. This is actually the future of real estate. And I see why it's not just a staying of it. I see why it's because they're really tech driven, they're agent oriented, they're business owner oriented. You're not a franchise. You can grow as a mini organization, as a mini brokerage without the responsibility, the liability, and the ability to scale globally. I'm like, great, sign me up now because I'm a business owner. I am investor. I can see these details matter for people like me who want that. If you're just an agent, just wants to sell real estate, it doesn't matter where you go. This is a better platform to go into, but it doesn't matter where you go because you're just selling real estate. But if you're going to grow an organization, this makes the most sense because now I can sleep at night. Even being a broker owner, I don't need to worry about the E&O insurance, the workers' comp, the liability. I can sleep at night. I can have the company, a bigger company, manage all this. It provides additional values that I can't provide as a small company, like Regis Spaces access, which costs, for example, $100 a month per person outside of EXP, but within it, it's included. I don't have to deal with these things. There's more than one broker, right? There's 5+ in California, and they have night and weekend on call. I'm like, wow, I wouldn't want to do that as a broker owner, right? I don't have to deal with all this. And they have compliance, and they have over 600 employees now helping across the world. I had 1, 2, 3, helping. So that ability to scale, I'm like, okay. And the second part of it was this. You're telling me I can build a team worldwide and I can just share my experience in marketing, sales, and tech and training and coaching. And then I don't have to be stuck in my own local area recruiting agents to build. That's even better now because in the future, like coming from tech background, everything should be global. It should not be organized just to one local small area that you're working in. Yeah, you can be dominant in one area. Great. That's always great to do. But if you can do that and replicate it across the world, then you can create a service that's a global service, a global product, which makes more money. Global products make more money. Global services can make more money. So that's where I really dived into it. And like, this totally makes sense. Moved our team there. Out of 14 agents, 2 left and 1 came back afterwards. And like, hey, this is great. And now we've grown exponentially grown. So it's been a lot of fun that way. And yeah, I work with Sean Work and Brent Gove. So Brent Gove is like one of the amazing leaders at EXP. And, when I first met him 3 years ago, I saw where his numbers are at. And now it's 10x that. I'm like, whoa, if I can just take 1% of that, I'd be happy, right? And that's crazy, the amount he did and all the effort he did to make it happen. So what I'm trying to do now is just copy that and build the same model and within my own skill sets and my own network and build it out. I did start a new event organization that's just it's going to be a global organization just based on education, values, events, networking, and providing massive value in teaching. So I created a company called Agent Hustle Network. And that part of it is really showcasing events, showcasing local agents in the areas, doing online events. And these events, what happens is normally when you see real estate events, they're all, just normal events, top producer panels, things like that, speaking engagement. What I'm trying to define the difference now is really drilling down. Great, you made $100 million. Okay, how did you do it? Why did you do it? What took you to get there? How can you replicate it so a new agent can copy you and do it? What sets you apart from someone else? And share with people who want to share, who have the abundance mindset, not the scarcity mindset. And by sharing this and connecting everyone together, creating a network, a community of people who want to help. And by doing it, elevating the agent experience, elevating our education, our values, our support. What I try to do at these events is I try to showcase my technical leadership skills in showing different areas of interest, such as the one we had last week. We had about 90 to 100 people there in person. And I had a 15-minute segment in there where I really dove deep into lead generation. And the lead generation actually encompassed not just basic, here's the pillars of success, door knocking, mailers, and things like that. That's all the old school ways. Let me show you what people are doing today in today's market. Really think about, you got to have a really strong website. You got to have SEO. You got to have performance. You got to have social media, video marketing, content marketing, advertising, all digital. You got to have videos that relate. And even now, what I'm building is conditional statement videos. So, for example, if this, then, or, but, why, videos that tie in to conditional statements. So if you click here, here, and here, here's the video you'll get. And each one will be sequential based on your question you ask. That's even another level I'm putting into, right? And those automated emails, expired texts, 10x that with video marketing, landing pages, content marketing to follow up, right? Create that process. So that's a different level. And then the feedback we got was, whoa, how come no one ever showed us this? Or how can I learn more about it? Why does that even matter? And then how does that affect your business? And we did proof of concept. One of my new agents, part-time, all he does is video marketing. And guess what? 9 months later, 14 deals close as a new agent. And like, that works? Yeah, it works. It's just building your network. Well, I don't have a network. You still can build one, right? You can build an audience. You're a marketing agency first. You can build it. But one of the things we're talking about in one of the upcoming events I'm having actually with you guys is going to be how to 10x your website marketing. That's really important because I tell agents, your website is like your retail store. It's a digital store. You got to make it move. You got to change it up. You got to have items of value for me to come into your store. If I don't, what's the point coming in or not? And if I come in and it's old, it's empty, there's nothing here, I'm going to leave and never come back. You only have like 7 seconds to really impress someone. And then how do you create that engagement? And like, what kind of content are you putting out there? So the way I see it is this: your website is actually not a expense. It's actually a investment to your business. It should become one of your core investments to your business, because everything from your CRM, from your videos, social, your advertising should all drive back into your website. And that website needs to learn to convert, to create retention, to create time on site. And through that process, you're going to learn about, you got to have really great servers. You got to have really great performance. And that matters for Google page ranking first. And you can see that ranking in the numbers. But once you start doing that and then building all the content on top of it, making it look nice while having it SEO driven matters. And over time, you build retention, you build communication, you build backlinking to it, and people start engaging to your website so that while you're sleeping at night, your website's converting and helping you business. So what happens in the morning, you should have fresh new leads, people who are inquiring to work with you. And when you call them now, your goal is this: it's not an outbound call no more. It's not a cold call. It's inbound prospecting. It's inbound engagement. Now they want to talk to you. They set an appointment with you. They want to engage you. They want to ask you questions about how you can help them. That's way more fun and way more easier than saying, hey, I want to call you. Are you interested in selling your house? Hang up on you. Cold calling sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. You're not selling the latest knives in the market. You're selling houses. So I guess, yeah, the leads need to be a bit warm. And with SEO, they know you, they know your brand, they chose you to lead them through the journey of buying or selling a home. So it's way better to convert and way better for your business. And hey, for everyone out there that is listening, registrations are still open, and this is gonna happen on the 28th of April, right, Matthew?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we'll just put the links below. You'll certainly find them, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. We'll be on Zoom, hosted by Matthew Ma and the Agent Hustle Network, and we're very looking forward to show you basically how can you leverage your business where buyers and sellers are actively searching for, which is Google. So Google is king. So we want to show you how do you please Google in the best way, so it can please you as well with more customers. We're super excited about that. I hope you are as well, Matthew.
Yeah, definitely excited. I always love to talk about website development, performance, and seeing how the results convert.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, and of course, you with your tech background, I think like you could you could share the stage with Chris basically, and go toe to toe on how this is important, because I know the terms and the specifications and what you need to do, to make your website better. Of course, it's not only knowing, it's knowing how to apply it. But yeah, it's going to be great.
I think one thing to add before we wrap up, one thing to add about that too is really the performance matters a lot for like when you look at Google and how they're doing page ranking, mobile's first, right? So mobile is actually one of the biggest factors. And then if you look at GT metrics and you type in your website to GT metrics, you can see your desktop and mobile performance. You can see what's going on. You can see the issues you have and how to resolve those. Even if you're not tech savvy, you got to work with companies like Ardor and SEO and other companies who can help you with performance. Some of those websites look really pretty, but the performance is actually not great at all. 70s and 20s, that doesn't make sense. You're paying a lot of money for nothing, and you have no inbound traffic. But even for myself, like I designed my website. So if you go to matthewma.com, I designed it. But guess what? On desktop side, it's 100% performance, and there's like 0 milliseconds to load. And on the server side, it's like 93% on the mobile side right now. And I'm still working on a couple of key factors to change up the elements to get to 100%. But even at 93, it's already perfect enough. Those two things alone, without any content, is already ranking me in the low 200,000 range. And if you look at Alexa tools, you can see the ranging of all the websites out there, and 200,000 still doesn't mean much, but you're way up there versus some sites at 4 million. Like that's really bad because you're like, no one's even looking at your site. So those couple elements you can do to really engage. And after that, when you start adding in the content, the SEO, the videos, your site can explode.
Yeah. And it's a long-term investment. Then you can just sit back, relax, and just let the leads come. And yeah, well, like there's one very fun analogy we like to make, Matthew, which is your website is like a business card. So a business card can be the most sexy, beautiful, with shining diamonds and gold business card you ever have. But if you leave your business card at home, no one's gonna see it, right? If you have like it can be ugly, it can be spelling your name wrong. But if you bring a bunch of business cards to the street and show to people, they're gonna see it, and at least one of them is gonna convert. So it's as you said, like the perfect balance between a well-designed and good-looking website with a converting one. So it's that middle ground that you wanna achieve.
Exactly. That matters the most.
Yeah.
Function before, fashion. Was that function before fashion?
Or function in faction, and I don't know, dancing, function in faction, dancing. I don't know. We can make something up here. Mm-hmm. So where do you go from here, Matthew? Like, what are your goals in terms either your syndication fund or your EXP Realty organization?
So from here right now, this year I'm working on heavily on is really doing a lot of events, a lot of community networking events, and educating real estate agents out there with all the top agents in our networks. The second part to that is really learning how to scale that. And then at the same time, my goal for EXP is to go from 60 to 100 plus agents, build that out, and really provide a lot of value, support, and guidance for our agents to grow. So I have a team in our group who are actually coaching every day to really help them scale their business. And that's a part of it. On top of that, besides family and having a lot of fun with my kids, is building my syndication further. So we're looking to acquire another 1,000 units this year. Looking to raise additional funds, acquire another 1,000 units, and have that perform well to really start scaling that up into the multi millions of assets under management.
Nice, perfect. Looks like 2022 is going to be a good year.
Yeah, I believe so. I think it'll be a lot of fun this year.
Nice. So how can our audience reach you if they want to get to know you better, give you a call, or maybe even like investing in your fund?
Yeah. So if you guys are interested in learning more about my real estate sales, my investing, my coaching, or the podcast, check it out at matthewma.com, and the Truth About Real Estate podcast and our Agent Hustle Network. And then it'd be great connecting with you guys, learning more what you guys need and how can we help you.
Great. Thank you, Matthew, for coming along. I think we had the greatest tech background in the podcast yet. So it'll be good to have your perspectives on that. And yeah, we're looking forward to see you also on the webinar in a few days in the end of the month. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed as much as I did.
Cool. Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Bye, Matthew.
Bye.